Call this meeting to order. Well, Wednesday, July the 30th, 2025 special meeting. Welcome everybody here today. That's in the courtroom, anybody that's online also. Thank you for coming. The first item today would be the county administrator items. Anytime you want to start, Mr. Tadlock.
The board had requested some additional information on the fiscal year 25 school appropriation request, and that had been presented earlier to the board. The superintendent and Mr. Jack Regan are here from UHY if you have specific questions.
All right. Thank you all for coming. If y'all don't mind, come up and answer some questions here. On this appropriation, a supplemental appropriation for $410,000, and you have it listed as miscellaneous overspending. I know you said in your conversation the other day that you didn't need that much money, but you'd probably be returning $280,000. All right, why are you asking for the additional funds when you don't really need it?
So that there is a little bit of cushion. Again, Jack Regan with UHY. To ensure that there is a little bit of cushion in each of the appropriations categories, so that if there is an invoice that we are not aware of right now that needs to be paid out of fiscal year 25, that there is some sort of availability to pay those. If we go straight to, let's just say we zero everything out, all right? I think there's an analysis we provided you that shows there are certain categories that have surpluses, certain categories that have deficits. If we transfer the surplus from those individual categories to other categories where there are deficits and zero them out so that there will be, let's see here, it would be administration and health, operations and maintenance, facilities, debt service, and technology. We would take those to zero, meaning we would transfer, we're asking for a transfer of appropriation in all those categories such that the amount of available appropriation equals exactly what we have projected that is going to be charged against the fiscal year 25 budget once all invoices are paid. All right? That will leave us with a deficit of $80,813 in instruction and $9,000 in pupil transportation. All right, so it's actually now it's about $90,000. So I've refined it. So you would need to appropriate an additional $90,000. If we get that $90,000, that would take the instruction projected surplus and the pupil transportation surplus to zero, right? That would exactly balance the books. But again, if an invoice of which we are not aware right now comes in, that will take us, and we pay everything that we know we currently owe. That will take us again to a deficit. And we need to come back to this board again and ask for another supplemental appropriation. So the initial ask was to create a little bit of cushion over and above in each of those expenditure categories so that we don't have to come back a third time or a fourth time to take care of those invoices. Again, we weren't aware of them. We've asked several times. It's the best information I've got available to me right now. But if you want to do just says zero, meaning all of the expenditure categories based on this appropriation, based on what we are projecting to spend, the number that we would need would be 80,813 for instruction and 9,021 for pupil transportation, for a total of 89,835. But I've got limited confidence that I have 100% of the invoices that are ultimately going to be presented for payment against the fiscal year 25 budget. We've asked several different times, several different ways for everybody to give us that information. But I'm a little dubious of whether or not that's, whether we're going to be able to land it exactly at that number. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
So in reality, as far as the money coming back to us, that's going to be depending on whether or not you've received all the invoices. If you had the whole $400-some thousand, if you had that right now, then it's entirely possible that we may not get that money back if other invoices come in.
Correct. If the other invoices come in, that it would be less than the cushion that is built into this. And right now, again, we've revised it slightly from when I was here 2 weeks ago. I think the last time we were talking about a net deficit of about $115,000. Now the net deficit is about $90,000. That 89 and change that I just mentioned earlier. So it's come down
With what you know.
a little bit with what I know currently. Yes, sir.
Why would there be invoices that would be coming along that you wouldn't know about at this point?
Folks may have forgotten about something that had previously been committed, come in, just hadn't been purchase ordered. And mind you, all of these invoices that I'm talking about are invoices for which there is not a purchase order in the system currently.
So, Mr. Williams, and Board of Supervisors, something that we're addressing that we have found is that there was not good procedures and training in place about putting a purchase order in when an expenditure was encumbered, when you knew you were going to spend money. That is something that we have addressed with all of our directors, anybody who's a budget holder and has ability. As soon as we know we want to encumber funds, a purchase order must be in the system or we will not be paying for that. This is something that we are finding that invoices are coming in for which purchase orders were not initiated previously when someone knew there was going to be an expenditure. So this is a problem. I believe it was a problem that was addressed in the forensic audit as well. It is a problem that we have addressed and we are continuing to clean up. This is a 24-25 issue.
And Mr. Reagan, you say that you've asked folks about invoices that might be coming down the pipe and you haven't gotten any answers. Are you asking vendors or county staff? Who are you asking these questions to?
It has all been currently to county staff. We have not reached out to the vendor community and done a search for unrecorded vendor, invoices or vendor purchase orders, anything like that.
Well, I know in your conversations you've had with this board that you have asked numerous times to that staff to present all the invoices.
Yep.
It's time that staff tighten up, or else something needs to be done.
And that's exactly what we're doing for 26, and making sure that all of the purchase orders get in the system first, and then invoices come in against those purchase orders. We're doing our best on 25 as well on all those, and trust me, if there is an invoice that comes in for 25 that was not given to us either in the May data call, the June data call, or the early July data call on all this, my first call will be to the superintendent to let her know that this is something that, in spite of asking a couple of different times, a couple of different ways, that someone forgot to give this to us. That will be dropped over into the superintendent to deal with appropriately.
It just doesn't look very good on staff, that you constantly having to keep reminding them of invoices.
I
It's
think
very
we are,
poor.
oh, absolutely. I understand and empathize with this board's frustration at that. It's why we are trying to change the culture of the organization when it comes to spending as quickly as we can. One of the things that, as I was coming here today, that just so the board is aware, that I got an analysis of was we got a copy of the fiscal year 2025 check register. And we sorted that check register by vendor and accumulated the number of checks that were written per vendor. So picture a table, got three columns in it. Vendor name, number of checks, total amount of checks cut. Some of them have 10, 11, 12. It's pretty easy to see that those are monthly payments. Some of them have one for a big number, maybe a software contract or something like that. What we're going to use that to do is to go through and what has happened in the past, and there were 1,040 checks that were cut last year. And what we're going to use that analysis to do for 26 is to go back through with staff, and for those vendors, say for a power bill, cut one big purchase order for the year. That's our estimate of what our power costs are going to be. Have the invoices come in and applied against that and monitor that spending against the purchase order throughout, instead of every month scrambling to cut a purchase order to cover a check that came in. So we're going to be going through and encumbering a lot of those funds in the systems for these large contracts, the large monthly recurring payments, that will get that money encumbered so that no one can claim it. But it will also reduce the administrative volume of cutting purchase orders and scrambling around to cut purchase orders when invoices come in that are presented for payment. So we're trying, and that's going to be a sea change culture-wise for the organization to do, because everybody's used to asking, going out, procuring the service or good, getting the invoice come in, and then recording the purchase order so that the invoice can get paid. We're trying to break that cycle and get that purchase order entered quickly so that those funds are claimed out of the budget and no one else can get to them.
We have trained our staff not only on the timeline that's expected moving forward for putting in purchase orders, but we've also given the tools to staff that give a comprehensive training to anyone. How do you do this? What are the steps? She spent today with two of our newer staff members for hours going through these steps. So we are also following it up administratively to make sure that what we have asked to be done is being done. It is a directive. We have given the tools, and we expect that the tools and directions that those steps are carried out.
And so far, is it working?
Yes, we haven't even sent, we haven't had any purchase orders through the new year yet. So right now, we're at the stage of everybody who is going to be incurring expenses is getting their purchase orders lined up, getting them into the system so that we can move forward.
But yeah, the accounts payable email box is getting spammed right now with all of the requests that are coming in, because one of the things that we requested to do, again, to facilitate the workflow and make sure that the analysis is being done correctly, is that any purchase order requests that come in go in through the accounts payable mailbox with documentation that shows here is the individual that authorized it, here's the date of that authorization, with their initials and the dates on it, so that we're seeing who is physically approved all that information, or all that purchase order, and then we're going through and making sure that that purchase order is got budget authority for it and is being charged to the right place. And again, that process occurred much, much later in the purchasing process in years past. I mean, it was concurrent with the invoice being presented is when the purchase order was coming in, and by then it's too late. You know, you're 30, 60, 90 days after you've initially procured that, when that budget authority should have been grabbed.
And then, of course, haven't accounted for the funds that you would encumber, so you
Correct.
thought you have those funds available.
Yep.
But in fact, you did not.
All right, so any department sends in an approved purchase order, and that goes in, and that's supposed to be approved, or that is approved once it gets in? Or
No,
did-
there's a final approval, so it goes in from the directors with the invoice. Well, the purchase order goes in from the director. When the invoice comes in, it goes back to the director so that they can attach the invoice to the purchase order and say, yes, this is what I wanted to spend. Here is the invoice. Yes, we did or did not receive this thing. That gets signed. It goes back to the finance director, which is right now it's going to UHY. UHY, with Shavonda and myself, is giving a final approval. Nothing is being paid without a final approval. But that final approval, which is usually the finance director would be, is us sitting down and going, yes, this is correct, we ordered X, yes, this is what they paid for, this is a legitimate expense, we will go ahead and approve this to be paid. So there is a two-check system there.
All right, so it's actually getting approved without a central purchasing agent. That's what
No.
I'm looking at.
The payment is not being approved unless it comes. through
But the invoice has been approved. Hadn't the invoice been approved?
Well,
Didn't I hear that
two
you said
steps.
you got an invoice and then it had to go back for approval?
Invoice comes in.
Isn't that a little late?
Invoice, well, we'll take a step back, and that's why I wanted to divorce the purchase order process from the invoice process, right? So when they're entering into an agreement for a good or service to be provided, the purchase order gets generated by staff, it gets approved by the appropriate level of management, comes through us, we make sure that there is official budget authority for that, and that all of the requisite approvals have been made, and then we will enter it into the system, and at that point, you know, the contract, you know, there's a binding obligation of the schools, right? So now the budget authority has been taken up, all right? Then an invoice comes in, all right? Invoice comes in, it gets routed to whoever is knowledgeable that that good or service got delivered. We're asking for them to initial, to put a date on there that says, yes, this good or service has been rendered, this is okay to pay. It comes back into us. We will match it against the purchase order to make sure that they came in at the right amounts. And if that match occurs, we'll take it over to these two folks, show them, hey, this is okay to pay, and then they will authorize it to be paid. So that's the way that the process is going to work. We're trying to divorce, again, the purchase order process that grabs the budget authority from the payment process that, you know, issues the payment. What's key for me as the person that's acting in the finance director capacity, and whoever gets this position ultimately, they're not necessarily going to know that a good or service has been rendered. That's off a lot of times in the program side. So they're going to have to rely on someone from the program side saying, yes, this good or service has been rendered. And that's why that initial and that date are going to be so critical, is that they're saying, yes, this good or service has been rendered, this is okay to pay, and then finance matches that up against the purchase order and the invoice is paid.
I'm also looking at the process that you just identified as, you purchase order is also a request to purchase. And-
Correct.
And right then and there, it's going to be approved or denied.
Correct.
And we have some, we will deny purchase orders.
Right. And if it's denied, the purchase will not be
That's
made.
right.
That purchase order will still be on record as being denied. It won't be destroyed.
And we have also trained any staff with budgetary reliance, all of our directors, who would be able to put in a purchase order or initiate that spending. They need to probably just go ahead and check with us even first, because if we can't match it to something in the budget that should be spent, you actually don't need to bother to put the purchase order in, because we won't be buying it. So, we have already, and we will continue to reiterate these things. We are keeping an eye on everything that's coming through. Or I should say we will be, because we really haven't had anything come through just yet.
They're starting.
Yeah, they're starting today.
So to get back to the funds that you requested, to you, it doesn't really make any difference if you get to 89,000 or 430,000, just as long as you get the funds to close this year out.
Doesn't
And
make
if you
any
get to
difference.
89,000, you need more, you come back. But
We do
just
whatever
move
we're
Correct.
told.
Correct. Yeah, it's up to this board. We put together to put some cushion in there, but the minimum amount, based on what we know right now, based on what we've estimated, is net of the transfers, because remember, it's a two-step process. We've got some surpluses as it stands now that we're projecting in certain categories. So there's going to be a reprogramming of those surpluses to categories where there are deficits. That will take those surpluses to zero. There will still be an $80,813 deficit that we're projecting in instruction and a $9,000 deficit in pupil transportation. So at a minimum, based on what we're projecting, that will bring it to exactly zero based on what we're projecting. We need $89,835. Anything over and above that is cushion in any of those categories. But the minimum that we need from this board, based on what we know right now, is $89,835. And I should have made that much, much clearer at the last meeting. I apologize for that.
Well, see, I don't have a bit of problem with giving you some cushion. I understand things can come in. Don't get me wrong on that. But that's a lot of cushion. That's what, $321,000? Awful lot of cushion.
Yep.
And when we get our money back, or if we get any money back, it would be at the end of the audit, which is months away.
Right.
So I'm not comfortable with giving you the 410. I'm going to have a better problem with giving you 150.
So 150 would be roughly a 0.25% cushion. So one of the things, and I don't know if the board got the spreadsheet electronically or just got it in PDF, but there's a spreadsheet that you should have that's got an extra column off to the side that, at least on my electronic copy, I'd shaded in blue. Where what I did was I put a formula in there that said if we were to do a 0.5% of cushion, how much would that be? And that would be an extra 113,000, which would get to 200,000. But the cell formula, if you drop it in where it says 0.50, if you go into that cell and you put in 0.0025, it'll ripple through, and I believe that gets us down to about 152,000, something like that. So if you did 150,000, that would give us a 0.25% cushion on our projected expenditures. And that's a very legitimate and very prudent way of going through, making sure that we're not burdening the county but giving us just a little bit of cushion to be able to deal with some of the uncertainties that are still present in 25 that we're wringing out in 26.
All right, so in that case, so if you're gonna be a little bit short, I don't have a bit of problem with increasing that, say, to 175. And that would give you a little more cushion in case something else came in. And that's not tying up a whole lot of the county's money sitting out
Yep.
here. Because right now, the county's strapped.
And just again, to emphasize, if we do land it, say it's at 150, we'll just say it's at 150. We've projected that we need 90. There would still be 60,000 coming back to the county, assuming we landed it right at the 90. Again, in December,
Yeah,
like you
I
indicated
understand that,
at the end of
yeah.
the audit.
That's
But
that's
that's,
much,
I,
yeah.
the other, I think 150 is fair. I think that will work.
But
And one of the things that I would like to, and I haven't talked to the superintendent about this, so don't kick me in the shins, but one of the things that I think would be prudent for us to be able to do is if an invoice comes in that is not currently in our analysis, so there was an oopsie. We report each and every one of those oopsies separately to the board as part of the year-end closing process. Say, okay, here are payments that came in that in spite of everybody asking 3 separate times in 3 different ways, give us everything, something still came through the cracks. We will report those separately to the school board, we'll report those separately to you so that you can see that occurred. I want to be very transparent about that, given the circumstances that brought us to where we are today. I think it's fair for this board to request that level of transparency and accountability. So hopefully you're okay with
I
that.
had the same idea, so actually, we were good. I had thought of that yesterday when we had that discussion, so, yeah,
Good.
I mean, that would be a very simple thing for us to prepare and share.
All right, any other questions, gentlemen?
No, I don't have any.
I think it's under I guess I call it the old administration, and we've got some new administration now, and even more coming on. We have concerns. Number one, as Richard said, we're very strapped. We're very, very strapped. Spending has got to stop. No two ways about it. It's got to stop. But we've gotten burnt before. Money never comes back. A matter of fact, an effort is made. We've got evidence where an effort is made to try to get rid of anything that's left over. And that's why, being strapped as we are, we're concerned. We want to put controls on what money goes out. I applaud you, both of you, for what you're doing. We got faith in what you're doing. And with that in mind, I'd be willing to go along with what Richard said, to give you a little bit of cushion there. But that's our concerns. That's our concerns. We've been burnt before.
Yep, and Mr. Supervisor, to allay that concern, again, I think as we are trying to foster this new culture of accountability, one of the things that we will be presenting to the school board and to this board, especially during the second half of the year, is budgetary status against, the purchase orders. So we will commit to reporting to this board, here are the amount of open purchase orders that are remaining in each of these periods, so that you can see that there's not a lot of spending frivolously to take all of that purchase order authority, just so that we don't have to give it back, right? We will commit to doing that, and it's a very fair ask. It's something that, in my background, to tell stories every once in a while, I used to get calls from my father, who was a federal employee, towards the end of their fiscal year, hey, what's the new computer out there? I've got a whole bunch of budget authority left over. I need to spend before I lose it, so let me buy the best computers. They went, the day he retired, walking into a closet next to his office and had just dozens upon dozens of computers that had never been used, because, they bought them for that purpose, just to expend the budget authority. So that sort of stuff is sort of ingrained in me to not have that practice. And again, I think because of the way that this board has treated very fairly the superintendent of schools in this matter, what we have to do to demonstrate good faith back on that to you is be very transparent about where all of that spending is occurring and give you constant updates on the budgetary status. They will go through the school board and be presented to you, but we're going to be very transparent about all of that.
Mr. Reed, I trust your numbers. Because I think you're trying to do it right. I do trust your numbers.
I appreciate that.
Dr. Leslie, you've never steered me wrong in any of your conversations we've had, so I trust you. School board, they're going to have to earn my trust, because I'm not going to give it to them until they do earn it. So that's the way I stand.
And understand, given the circumstances, that's the case, and it is up, to Dr. Leslie, her leadership team, to my UHY team, to help bring back that important culture of accountability around spending and create reports monthly that folks have confidence in, that they're timely, that folks understand where the money came in, where the money's going out. And again, I've talked to Dr. Leslie about this several times. I want to start getting into a rhythm of presenting that information to her. She presents it to her board, and then it gets presented to this board, because I want to respect the statutory requirements and of everybody, including the members of the school board. So we're going to be presenting all that information to both boards on a regular recurring basis.
Well, that's what this board expects.
They need the 89, 834, and the 150 as a cushion.
Yeah,
I'm good with that.
All right. Right. Well, let me start back over again. Gentlemen, I'm going to put a motion back on the floor that we rescind that $410,000 that we agreed to give the school system of a day. That motion be wiped clean. And then I'll make a motion to start over. So, any discussion on that, but I need a second.
I'll second your motion.
All right, any discussion? All right? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those against? All right. Now, make a motion now. Mr. Regan said he wanted 150. I'm willing to give him a little bit more for cushion. And I'm agreeable to go 160 or 175, whichever y'all think we should go with right there. Give him some cushion to play with. So if you want to do it for 175, I'll make a motion that we give the school system $175,000 to cover their miscellaneous expenses. And whatever money that they do not spend over that $89,000 that they return,
Absolutely.
that's
In
my
accordance with
motion.
state law.
Yep. So, there's your motion.
I'll second that.
Second? All right, any discussion?
Mr. Chairman, if I may, we've got the lump sum, but in order to put that in the budget, we're going to need that broken down by category, how that needs to play out.
Yeah, could y'all break it down by category then?
155 to instruction, 175 for instruction, 20,000.
I thought he had, it was 80,000, 813 in one, and 9,021 in the other.
Yeah, I guess we could do it that way.
More money than that.
Yeah, so I think of the 175,
Which way would you like it, which category would you like it broken down into?
If you-
Categories.
see, I'm
Section 6100.
trying to do the numbers in my head here. It's always dangerous. Wish I had a computer.
You want to calculate?
No.
Ms. Reedy, do you need the spreadsheet?
Hmm?
Do you need that spreadsheet?
Yeah.
Sorry, my version is really tiny.
So while they're doing that, open house is on the 5th?
Yes. Coming?
Yeah,
All right.
Oh, but open houses,
What time?
on the 5th,
But 1 to 6.
1 to 6.
20, what's that?
August the 5th,
What time?
1 to 6.
Let's see, what about?
And can we take advantage of dead airspace and welcome our teachers and staff back today? Today was their first day back.
Really?
Yeah.
All right.
One
Our
that's-
new teachers started on Monday, but everybody else came back today.
Got a lot of good compliments. You had, I think you called it an open forum or whatever it was, where you had all the teachers,
Town hall.
town hall, yes. Had a lot of good feedback and compliments from the school staff on that, and they really liked that and hope that you keep doing it.
Yes. We also hope to have one for student families and community coming up as well.
This 1 to 6.
So I might be the most excited person when we close 25.
I don't know, I think I'm gonna be,
26.
I think I'm gonna be right there with you.
So I'm really
worry.
excited to
We're
get
gonna
those
be
things
excited
going.
too.
From this 1 to 6, what
I'm
part?
sorry, I couldn't hear you, Mr. Long.
You say August the 5th. What's this?
Open house
Open house?
for all 3 schools.
Okay, what part of the school will they have? In the gym or where? Where would it be?
Pretty much.
Everywhere.
Yeah, I was just saying.
Huh?
Open house, that is where families need to come and meet the teachers. You have some of our secondary, like our middle school, they have a part where they meet with the families about where they're talking. So there's a lot going on, all of the buildings and all three.
Yeah, we had a lot of teachers retire last year, so, we did have a good group come in this year. We have a new high school principal, so we love her, all of our new folks. We were so lucky. We had such a good cohort of people come in.
How many vacancies do you have currently?
I don't know, I think we have one at the high school.
Which one was Ms. Williams?
And we may be able to fill that soon. We've done some here.
But you done away with 10 positions.
Say again?
You reduced the staffing by 10
Yeah,
positions.
so we did away with positions that weren't necessary. We didn't cut anyone's positions. We just had positions that did not require to be refilled, and so they were not refilled.
Good.
And we also reduced one of the IT positions, some paraprofessional positions, a couple of teaching positions. Yeah.
So those teachers will not affect the accreditations of the school?
No. No, so any decision that we would make on that, we base on course load numbers. There's very strict guidelines from VDOE on how many students a teacher can have, things of that nature. So, we're not messing with any of that. Of course, our student loads are not exceeding VDOE in any stretch. So, we are good.
All right. Mr. Reagan, you have some?
Yeah, so I think the county administrator, we ran the numbers. So, and remember, it's still a two-step process, right? So we're asking for the transfers for anything where we're projecting a surplus up into certain categories that will reduce the deficits there. But County Administrator, we have to get to the 175, we're requesting 140 for instruction.
That's correct. So as far as the transfers, those stayed. The board did not rescind that specific motion because we did those in
Did those
several
separately, yes.
motions.
All that's, all
So
that's still in
what the
place.
board rescinded was that $410,000 supplemental appropriation is
Right.
what I'm taking that you all were referring to earlier.
Yes.
So what they are asking for is, in instruction is $140,000, administration and health would be $5,000, pupil transportation would be $15,000, operation and maintenance would be $10,000, and technology would be $5,000. And that should get you back to the $175,000.
All right. I will amend my motion to put those amounts in those categories.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
To
You agree with
second
that?
back on that, Mr.
Us-
Plum?
us-
All right. Rest of the board okay with that? All right. If everybody's ready, we'll have a vote. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those against? All right. There you go. And I would imagine Mary will probably have money ready for you by Thursday.
Yep.
She's got lots of paperwork for me.
But again, appreciate the opportunity that this board is extending to the superintendent, her team, and our UHY team to reestablish confidence in the financial reporting processes that the schools need to establish. We will be very transparent about all of this spending through the reports coming back, again, from the superintendent to her board and to you. We will ensure that if there is, my clumsy word, an oopsie of any of these invoices for 25 that eat into that extra cushion that you have so graciously extended to us, we will report separately to you what those were for. And we just, again, appreciate what this board has done and trying to help support the superintendent as she changes the culture out there.
All right.
Much nicer than I could have done. I just want to say thank you. We appreciate it.
Thank you. All right. Mr. Adlock, you have?
The board also had some questions regarding the interim finance director contract. Didn't know while we had Mr. Regan here if you all want to ask those questions as well regarding the timing.
Questions, board members?
Well, we had a question regarding the date. Did you get an answer
Yeah,
to the
the
date?
Yeah, I think it was as far as what costs were covering the July timeframe, because we're towards the end of that month. But as far as going into September as well, and knowing the timing of bringing on the finance director, as far as UHY's timing, I believe it were the two questions.
Yeah, well, we're not going to bill you more than what we told you we were going to bid you or bill you, even though I know my team has incurred a little bit of extra time this month as we're trying to right the ship here. We're not going to bill for that. I think what we had anticipated was assuming that the new finance director was in place by the end of August, that we would be able to curtail some of the hours per week that we've got. I think we were estimating about 24 hours a week for July and August, and then 16 hours a week for September, and some other couple of hours here and there of my time and one of my principals' time per week, reducing that a little bit in September. As that finance director would transition in, we would be there as a resource to help. And then it would be a matter of once That person is fully established. If you need ongoing support, we could talk about, any additional support you want at that time. I certainly think it would be prudent for you to have somebody, could be us, to be available to monitor the financial reporting environment for at least through the 26 audit cycle as new controls are being adopted, making sure that everybody's doing what they're supposed to be doing and the reports are being produced timely.
Any other questions, board members?
I don't want to get a finance director in place and they're gone. UHY's gone. I think we got to have a transition period, and he's got that well thought out.
Yep.
No, don't have a problem.
I don't want to be a bad penny, but I might be a bad penny here that just keeps circling back around. We're very invested in seeing the finances of the school division stabilized, and will be available to help as needed through that process. And we'll report back to the board through the superintendent, through the county administrator, if we believe, that there is still some extra support needed once the finance director is on board. You guys have dealt with me now for a while. You know how very honest I am. I'll be very upfront about what I think you need.
All right, staff have any other questions?
How about office space? What's been decided on the office space?
Have we decided? I am still awaiting a visit so that we can do a walkthrough for office space.
Okay.
I know at one meeting, somebody had said left and right with the way that building is set up office-wise, that's probably not going to work. I have some folks in offices with doors that probably don't need them, and you may have people who do need doors, so it might have to be a mixed bag.
When would you like that visit?
Say it again, I'm sorry.
When would you like to have that visit?
What are you guys doing now? Oh. I'm there every day,
Jim.
so.
Think about after the meeting
Okay.
today.
Yeah, because we talked about this a month
Yeah.
ago.
Yeah,
After the meeting
anytime,
today.
Mr. Tadlock can get in touch with me anytime. I'm here. If for some reason I wasn't, I'd get Miss Ashton, but I'm here and I'm in the building, so
Okay.
just,
We'll probably be there after we get through.
Okay. Mm-hmm. I had thought, that's fine.
Okay.
Thanks.
Thank you.
All right. All right, what else do we have, Mr. Tadlock?
With that information, is the board want to move forward with the contract with UHY? And it's currently, the way it's written, it's with the school division. So I guess what you could do is allow that to move forward, and then school division could come back and ask for those monies as supplemental appropriations to their current budget, or however you all wish to do that, or to see if they currently have those monies in their budget. I'm trying to get clear direction on how y'all
What's
want to
direction
handle
of the board now?
the UHY.
Move forward?
We need to move forward. We can't,
Yeah.
we cannot have them leave yet.
All right. All right. Any other discussion? If not, a motion to move forward with the contract, and I guess we'll just allow our school system to give us a supplemental appropriation for that. Won't have to go through the trouble of changing it, if it's all right with y'all. Need a second?
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Got any other discussion?
That is, unless they have additional monies within their budget that can cover that. But
Yes.
we can-
Yeah, let's put that in the motion too. Unless they have additional funds that can be covered that. And they should have some additional funds in the appropriation that, the supplemental appropriation that they just got.
Well, that's going to be for fiscal year
25, yeah, that's right.
So we're
That's
talking about
25.
fiscal year 26.
I'm sorry. I wasn't thinking right. All right. So, any other discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those against? All right. We'll get that taken care of. What else do we have?
Just quick closed meeting.
Closed meeting. All right, well, whenever you're ready, we'll,
All right, I need a motion that the Northumberland County Board of Supervisors convene in closed meeting pursuant to Virginia Freedom of Information Act, Section 2.2, 3711A1, for the discussion and consideration of personnel matters. Invited to attend the closed meeting as necessary are the county administrator and assistant county administrators. They are deemed necessary, and their presence will reasonably aid the board in its consideration of topics to be discussed pursuant to Virginia FOIA Section 2.2, 3712F.
Motion made.
motion made, second,
Would-
and second. All those in favor say
Would-
aye.
The only person I didn't read in was Mary. Do you all need Mary Ann?
Don't want
or-
Mary?
Mary can say if she wants to stay, if Mary wants to go,
All
Mary
right,
can
we
go.
will allow Mary to stay.
Okay.
All right. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those against.
Don't want Mary to feel left out.
Mr. Reagan, I appreciate you coming over here today and spend your time with us. Thank you. Thank you.
Need a motion that the Northumberland Board of Supervisors return to public meeting and certify by roll call vote that only public business matters lawfully exempted from open meeting requirements by the Virginia Freedom of Information Act and as were identified in the motion convening the closed meeting were heard, discussed, or considered during the closed meeting.
All right, gentlemen, can I have a motion?
Second.
Got a motion and a second. All right, roll call vote. Mr. Williams?
Aye.
Mr. Long? Aye. Mr. Brand? Aye. Mr. Fisher?
Aye.
Mr. Henry votes aye. All right, we are now back in the open meeting, gentlemen. We have some action we need to take.
Sure, I'll make a
All right,
motion.
you can make it, or I'll make it, doesn't make any difference.
I'll make the motion that we approve the hiring of Deborah Whaley, and you want the salary in that motion?
Yes.
At the salary
Yes.
of $145,000.
And start date of August 1st.
Start date of August 1st, right?
I'll second it.
All right, got a motion, and a second. Got any discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye. Aye. All against? All right. Passes 5-0.
Praise the Lord. Been a long time coming.
And that is for the position of Director of Finance.
You want a
Financial
motion for
director.
the appropriation also?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, we need that too.
Make a motion that we approve the supplemental appropriation in the amount of $187,000, $187,476 to cover the salary and benefits and the training for that position.
Second.
All right, got a motion, and a second. Any other discussion on it? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All against?
Also make note that the majority of this salary come into the school budget. The money they're saying that we spent money.
Yep.
This money, a lot of the majority of the money to hire this person come into the school budget.
Good point.
Should we have included contingent upon background check in that motion?
Yes, actually.
Right.
Amend the
Go back and
hiring,
amend your motion.
amend the hiring of Ms. Whaley to include the background check coming back clear.
All right. All right. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those against? All right, the motion was amended.
Thank you.
All right. What else do we have?
You finished, Mr. Tallard? You finished?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I have three quick things. You know, I told you about, I had some calls on corn and other wheat growing out where people had problem with the visitation. They had to pull out in the road almost. One was Hazard Road, Valley Road, and Indian Valley Road. Those three I got reports on.
Okay.
That's all I have.
Oh, yeah, Mr. Long?
Yeah.
Anything else, Luttrell?
No, sir.
So we're meeting over to the building, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. You can walk, Jimmy, I'm driving.
If the entire board is going to be meeting over there, I
Yeah.
would recommend that you all,
Stay open.
yes, sir, stay open, reconvene over there, and then close the meeting over there, since we do have a quorum.
Yeah, even if it's only 3 of us going, we need to stay open. We got 3 going,
I don't
4
have to,
going?
I don't have to go. I just want it, I
Yeah,
want it settled today.
yeah, I'm going.
Okay. Well, that's the plan, is to settle it today.
Mm-hmm. Let's go.
All right.
I feel like we've actually accomplished something today.
Yeah.
So, I mean, so we're gonna have to keep the meeting open. You going right, Richard?
Yep.
That's 3. All right, we'll just
The
keep it
meeting's
open.
gonna have to stay open. All right, let's go ahead and end up at the school board office or the old EVV bank, and we'll finish up